today, friends. It is I, Dr. Smarty Pants, and today we will be continuing on our quest for knowledge, and we will learn more about wisdom. But before we get to that, let me just take a minute to straighten out a few things. It has come to my attention that on the way to service this morning, there were some of you in the vehicle who were trying to be rather, well, let's say know-it-alls. If you found yourself riding with such individuals this morning, please feel free to turn to them and inform them kindly there's only room for one Smarty Pants here. Now that we have that out of the way, let's continue to fill our thirst for knowledge as we learn more about wisdom. As I have done more research, I have found that a wise person pays close attention to the words that they use. I thought I would bring on a guest who is very good at using certain words to bring about a certain outcome. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce you to Sal the salesman. Sal, take it away. Yo, what's going on, Smarty Pants? It's your boy Sal the salesman here, the original smooth talker. Tell us, Sal, have you found the words that you say to be significant? What do I know about words, Smarty Pants? Well, let me just say, in my line of business, words are everything. You see, if you really want to sell something to somebody, you just gotta watch them for a minute, try to get in their head, and then use the right words to touch on their emotions. Once you get their emotions involved, man, you can sell them on anything. Sal, why don't we take a look at your most recent television commercial? Come on down to Sal's Auto Emporium. Bad credit, no problem. We'll make a deal with anyone. Just come on down. We've got just the car for you, and it's right here waiting. Fellas, I know you're tired of riding around in those whippy little automobiles. Wah, wah, wah. Come on down to Sal's and pick up a true piece of American muscle. Feel the rumble, feel the roar, feel the power. Going on right now, we've got our special Cash for Clunkers sale. You bring the cash, we've got the clunkers. Come on, guys, don't miss out on this great deal. Ladies, we have a special deal for you down at Sal's Auto Emporium just for the summer. Leave your husband at home. Who's worried about checking under the hood? Just come on down and let Sal take care of you. We have a brand new selection of leakers. These cars are awesome for you ladies. Man, all your girlfriends will be so jealous. You won't have to worry about spending any time getting your oil changed. These great linkers are set to drip just perfectly. All you need to do is just add 1 quart of oil every week and you can drive forever. No oil change required. It has sure been a hot one out this summer. You guys better come on down to Sal's. We've got a whole lot full of lemons. And if you buy one today, we'll even throw in a glass of lemonade. Bad credit, slow credit, no problem. Sal will be glad to make a deal with you. So come on down to the Auto Emporium and tell them Sal sent you. As I'm watching this, I feel like possibly you are using your words to try and get people to do a certain thing. Nah, Mr. Smarty Pants, you're right. Everything in that commercial wasn't true. But you see, there was a time I wasn't concerned about the truth. I just used the words any way I could just to make that money. You see, I put money before everything else. Well, at least I used to. Well, Sal, you say you used to use words to get your way. Are you telling us you've learned something since then? I spent a whole lot of time saying a whole lot of things trying to get what I wanted, trying to get my money. But in the end, guess what? I had a whole lot of people's money, but I had no friends. Nobody would even want to come and spend any time with me. You see, after a while, word got around the town that Sal, the salesman, would say anything to make the sale. And he really didn't care about people. And he really didn't care if what he said hurt them. Well, it took me a while to turn things around. But I started going to my local church. And you know what? I found out from the Bible that words do count. That God can help me know what to say in any situation. And that I should not be telling lies. That I should be telling the truth. Because words matter. Well, Sal, if I'm taking all this in correctly, I think that I'm understanding you to say that words really do matter. And if what we say matters and how we say it matters, then it would be very wise for us to focus on our words. And if we're in a situation where maybe we don't know what to say, or we're angry and we're about to say something we shouldn't, maybe we should turn to God, because God can give us the right words to say. That lesson indeed is a very difficult one for many of us to learn. Thank you all for joining me. Please come back next week as we conclude our study on wisdom. You're not going to want to miss it.
Welcome back to week 3 of our series, Wise. Let me ask you a question. Is it easier to use kind words or unkind words? That's a good question to think about. Have you ever had a hard time finding the right words to say? I know sometimes when I've been talking, I haven't been able to think of the word that I was looking for. It might be hard sometimes to find the right words. Today, we're talking about how to find the right words and to use them in loving and kind ways. Our big idea today is we can ask God for the right words. Our Bible story today comes from 1 Kings chapter number 3, verse 16 through 28. In our story, Solomon is faced with a big decision. 2 women came before Solomon. Both women lived in the same home, and both women had recently had a baby. One of the women began to tell the story. Both women had been asleep at night with their babies laying beside them. Unfortunately, one of the babies had died during the night. The woman whose baby had died switched her baby with the other living baby. When the other woman woke up in the next morning, she looked down at her baby and saw that the baby had died, except she looked at his face and realized that was not her baby. But the one who had switched the babies refused to admit what she had done. She said, "No, the dead baby is yours. The living baby is mine." So both women went to Solomon for him to decide whose baby was whose. Solomon thought for a second, and he got an idea. He said, "Bring me a sword. We'll just use the sword to cut the baby in half, and each of you can have half of the baby." Well, the woman who was really the baby's mother said, "No, please, just give the baby to her. I don't want him to be hurt." The other woman, who was not really the mother of the baby, said, "Okay, neither of us can have him." Solomon knew then who the real mother was, the one who was trying to protect the baby at all costs. And Solomon said, "Give the baby to her. She is the mother." This was an incredibly difficult situation for anyone to figure out, but Solomon was calm because of the wisdom God gave him. Solomon had no intention of hurting the baby, but he knew that he could use those words, the words that God had given him, to find who the real mother was. When all the people heard, they were amazed at how wise Solomon was, and the woman thankfully got to have her baby back. Are your words kind and wise in a difficult situation? Have you ever squirted too much toothpaste out? You know you can't get it back into the tube. If I took a plate and I squeezed out all the toothpaste into the plate, I would not be able to get the toothpaste back in the tube. The same way with our words. Our words, when we use them in an unkind way, once we say them, we can't get them back. Even when we say we're sorry, the hurt from our words may linger for a while. We need to be wise when choosing the right words to use. We don't have to use big and eloquent words, but just using kind words to others and wise words to others will make a big difference. We can ask God for wisdom to help us choose the right words and to help us use our words in a kind and loving way. Let's pray right now and ask God for that wisdom and ask God to help us use our words wisely. God, we love you. We thank you that you have given us such a great example of wisdom. God, I pray you'd help us to use our words in a kind way, that we would use our words in a loving way to others, that you would help us to be wise with the words we choose, even in difficult situations. We love you. We thank you. In your name we